For this assignment, we are going to be working with your set of 16 pan watercolors. If you do not have the 16 set, which is double, you've got 16 instead of 8 colors in here, go ahead and do the assignment with your 8 colors, so at least you're doing it. But the demonstration today is all with the 16 color set. First off, this is a brand new set of colors to you, and you might notice that a lot of them look the same. Dried paint in the pan doesn't look like it does once you get it wet. So first step, I just want you to color explore. So choose a spot on your page in your sketchbook or on your paper that you're working on, and you're gonna test each color. So I like to start by always getting my colors wet. I tell my students we're gonna wake the colors up. I'm gonna take my watercolor set and I want to basically make a little matched palette for it. I want to know what these colors look like and which ones are which. So I'm going to try to keep it in order as I go along, and I'm just going to do a little color test swatch. After I did each drop of color, I'm just dipping my brush in water, just pure water, and doing a little wiggle. I want some lighter area of that color. I want to see what that color looks like when it is watered down versus when it's highly pigmented or less watered down. So give it a little wiggle with some extra water. You're kind of basically creating a mini value scale where you have a little darker area and a lighter area. Once again, I'm doing a dot of strong color, clean my brush, keeping it in order to match the palette. Once I finish with those dots, I'm just putting a little clean water on my brush and just doing a little wiggle. If it's too dark, like all that did was drag the black down, I'm going to use my dry brush. I'm going to squeeze the brush dry and I'm going to lift. I need to see some lighter version of the color so that I can know what it does when it gets watered down. You have to work quickly here. If you let it dry, you're no longer going to be able to move the paint. And last little tip here, make sure you're cleaning off your brush between touching each color. You don't want to taint your colors. You need to know what they truly look like. Now with that done, we have a better sense of what the colors each look like. And now we're going to do a little color wheel where we're going to blend each color together as we go around the color wheel. Take a look at these colors. I have 2 different reds. This red, which matches this one, is more of a pure red. This is more of a red-orange. This right here is more of a, well, orange-orange, and this is becoming more of a yellow-orange. So as I work around the color wheel, I need to try to keep these in order. So you got to plan this out a little bit. Which colors are going to be your in-between, your tertiary colors? It basically looks like this is your original palette: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. And now I've got these in-betweens: red, orange, yellow, green, a blue green. There's actually an extra blue green. You kind of have 2 versions of that. Try to squeeze them both in there. You've got more of a blue violet and a red violet as we look at these colors now that they're painted out. I'm going to start with a Sharpie and draw this little color wheel out, otherwise I might screw it up. There are 12 colors to the artist's color wheel. The most important are the primary colors. You can do any shape you want. You do not have to do an oval. So I know that I need red, yellow, and blue. In between those colors, I've got to have red and yellow make orange. So I'm going to leave myself a spot for orange. If you have fun handwriting, now's the time to use it. Make this more exciting. In between yellow and blue, we've got green, And over here, violets or purple. For each section that you've drawn out on the color wheel, you're going to paint in the color. Between them, paint in a secondary color like red-orange. Then, a little bit of water. See if you can mix those colors together. Let them bleed a little bit. You're just wiggling your brush back and forth. Let them bleed in the middle, but don't ruin the color. The colors are bleeding together a little more than I wanted them to here, so I am squeezing off my brush and lifting. This is called lifting, where I pull some of that pigment back out. You can also just do this with a paper towel. It's another trick. It's just not as controlled. I'm going to try that part again. Putting my yellow green in the middle. Maybe a little less water this time as I blend my two colors together in between. Between the blue and the green, we decided, remember, if we look at our colors up here, there's really two versions of blue-green. We're gonna go ahead and try to squeeze them both in there. That's more green, that's more blue. I determined that this is a more red violet, so that's going to go in between these. My red, it's been a while, it's already started to dry up, so I'm going to add a little more red to that section. And we decided that that's the more blue violet, which is that color right there. In the middle, right here, sometimes on an artist color wheel, you'll see them mix all the colors together, which is really the primaries. Red, yellow, and blue make all the colors. So what we're going to do is a wet on wet technique to fill in a middle section here. So I put water on the paper. I'm then going to grab my red and just let it bleed. So put a dab of that red right there and watch how it bleeds around. You have to have faith in this one. I'm going to take a dab of blue and put it here. And I'm not going to mix, I'm just going to let it bleed around. And then yellow here. Try not to touch those colors and just see if it will bleed. If you have to, if it's not really working, you can add just a touch of water to get it to kind of move. I just added a little more water to the middle of my color wheel here. What we're looking for is a little bit of mud. It wasn't quite blending, so I just dabbed some water in there and I'm kind of tilting the page to get it to mix a little bit right there in the middle. When your color wheel is dry, I want you to finish labeling it. I want you to give each color a label up here, and I want you to label the rest of the colors around the color wheel to match. We need to label this so this becomes a reference sheet. Don't take your picture and turn it in until you see that it has dried, because the reflection of the wet water makes it hard for me to see it in a photograph. Also, please label it. You can call this your watercolor color wheel or your artist color wheel, it's up to you.